Well, welcome, folks. Thank you for joining me again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And in the previous video I just did, titled A Devotion Time, The Battle of Gog and Magog Fulfilled, if you want to look it up, I show you how the Battle of Gog and Magog in Ezekiel 38 and 39 is already past fulfilled. As a matter of fact, it occurred before the incarnation of Christ. If you're curious about that one, click on that video. All right, so right now I'm going to be in Psalm, I think it's 122. These are short Psalms. So just in case I already did 122s, I don't recall, I'm going to do 122 and 123. All right. And then we'll go into Proverbs and get some wisdom. Ready? One, two, three, let's go. So Psalm 122 is the joy of going to the house of the Lord. Remember, the Psalms are song lyrics. Hebrew poetry put the music. And this is a song of ascents of David. I did read this one. I remember it now. So we're going to go straight to 123. I do remember this. So this one's going to be Prayer for Relief from Contempt, a Song of Ascent. It doesn't say who it's from. Psalm 123. Here we go. Unto you I lift up my eyes, O you who dwell in the heavens. Behold, as no, let me stop here for just a moment. People who don't understand the scriptures sometimes think that when the Bible talks about lifting up our eyes, oh, you who dwell in the heavens, that somehow the Bible is saying that God is located somewhere up there in the heavens, and that we're looking up to see the God who's up there in the heavens. This is the type of language that is kind of metaphorical. And okay, I'm sorry, an important text came in as I speak here. Okay, good. Sorry, I had to take care of that. The world doesn't stop spinning just because I want to make a video. All right, here we go. So yeah, it's not talking about God is located. There's like this, this thing, this physical entity or whatever called God, and he's up there on some cloud somewhere with a harp or something like. I mean, people get weird ideas about that. God is omnipresent. He is everywhere at the same time. So he's in the heavens and he's right here and he's everywhere else. So this is just it's language of exaltation. It's saying, God, you are so exalted in comparison to mankind that you dwell in the heavens where we cannot go. That's what it's saying. So let me read again. Unto you I lift up my eyes, O you who dwell in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of the servants look to the hand of the masters of their masters, as the eyes of a maid to the hand of her mistress. So our eyes look to the Lord our God until he has mercy on us. Have mercy on us, O Lord. Have mercy on us. For we are exceedingly filled with contempt. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorn of those who are at ease, with the contempt of the proud. This is someone who is kind of bullied, to put it in modern language, if you will, has taken a, a lot of criticism, a lot of heat, a lot of demeaning attitude toward him from others. And he's saying, Lord, be with me on this. Lift up my soul, strengthen me in the midst of this heavy criticism and this and being demeaned by others that is occurring. And then in verse 4, he says, our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorn of those who are at ease. They're at ease, but I'm troubled with the contempt of the proud. They are so prideful that they want to lift themselves up by dumping on someone else. That's another way of saying it. So, all right. So that's a good one. If you feel like you've been picked on, that Psalm 123 is a good one. Let's go to Proverbs 28 because today is the 28th. Yesterday I didn't do 27 because it was Thanksgiving and we were busy, busy with family. All right. Proverbs 28. These are always fun. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Sometimes the wicked can talk big, especially on social media. Really put out their puff their chest up and really, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna be big and tough, and we're gonna do this and that to you. But as soon as real opposition comes, they flee. But the righteous are bold as a lion. Those who have the Spirit of God in them, the Holy Spirit upholding them and strengthening them, they're fierce. Because of the transgression of a land, many are its princesses. Yeah. So to explain this one, the more crime and trouble and turmoil that you have inside of a land, a country, if you will, the more princesses or the more government you need, the more government officials you need to hold it all together and to try to suppress the evil that's permeating the land. You need more of that. So big government probably means big problems in the land. Because of the transgression of a land, many are its princesses, but by a man of understanding and knowledge, right will be prolonged. When you have a man of understanding and knowledge, he will resolve a lot of that. He will have the wisdom to deal with those situations. And men of understanding in society will help. That will culminate a lot of that, or that will subside, I should say, a lot of that as well. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a driving lane, is like a driving rain which leaves no food. In other words, it rains, but the crops still don't come up. Um, Poor oppressing the poor, man. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all. So evil men can talk about justice or even social justice all they want, but the Bible tells us here in Proverbs 28:5 that they do not understand justice. It's justice on their basis, justice according to their worldview, justice according to their knowledge. And if they don't have the knowledge of God, then they have no knowledge. That's the whole point. So they cannot understand justice. But those who seek the Lord understand all. Why? Because God is the source of all true knowledge. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Yeah, it's better to have integrity in poverty than perverseness in financial richness, if you will, financial prosperity. Whoever keeps the law is a discerning son, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. Now, back then, they didn't have the food industry problem that we have today. Many people are obese today because the food industry puts stuff in our food that causes that obesity. Back then, they didn't have that issue. Back then, a glutton was a real, true glutton who just overate, just loved food so much he just ate all the time and he got big, got fat. Today, you can try to do it right, but if you don't, but if you have any processed foods or anything like that in your diet, it's going to get you in the gut. You're going to get big in the belly. All right. One who increases his possessions by usury and extortion gathers it for him who will pity the poor. So this is the dishonest businessman or the scammer or someone like that who gets money off on by means of false pretense, right? They're lying to you and they're ripping you off. Gathers it for him who will pity the poor. So, yeah, one who increases his possessions by usury. Usury, of course, is high interest rates, balloon payments, variable interest loans, things like that that are designed to benefit the lender and really tear up the borrower. I mean, just destroy the borrower financially. Um, by usury and extortion, gathers it for him who will pity the poor. And of course, extortion it could be, it's like bribery, or it's like you're using something, you have something on someone that they don't want revealed, and so you extort them out of money by that thing. All right, lost where I was. Oh, here it is. Okay. One who turns away his ear from hearing law, even his prayer is an abomination. Yeah, if you're not going to, God looks for obedience. If you're not interested in obeying God, if you're just wanting prayer as a lucky charm of some sort, a magic pill to fix your problems, but you're not going to obey God, He's not going to hear your prayers. Whoever causes the upright to go astray in an evil way, he himself will fall into his own pit. By, but the blameless will inherit good. Yeah. So don't try to mess with people. You'll end up falling into your own pit. The rich man is wise in his own eyes. Yeah. Look at me, my big PhD, or my fancy degree, or even without a fancy degree, look what I built, my great company that I built. Oh, yeah, look at how great I am, right? Yep. That's the gloating that goes on there. The rich man is wise in his own eyes. I picked myself up by my bootstraps and built my own company. But the poor who has understanding searches him out. The poor says, yeah, but how's your soul? How's your family life? Things going well for you? Did all those riches fix all your problems? All right. When the righteous rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked arise, men hide themselves. Yeah, pretty simple. You get people in office, or you get people running things that are gracious and kind and generous toward people, there's great glory. But you get some wicked guy in there that just oppresses people, is a tyrant, then they hide them. People hide themselves. He who covers his sins will not prosper. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that try to cover their sins or make excuses for their sins today. He who covers his sins will not prosper, or even deny that they have any sin. Um, the best thing to do is to admit that you're a sinner. He who covers his sins will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will have mercy. If you want mercy from God, you're going to have to be honest to God about your sin and your iniquity. Happy is the man who is always reverent. He reveres God, he's respectful toward others. But he who hardens his heart will fall into calamity. We're heading toward the Christmas time at the reading of this. Scrooge will have his calamity. The Grinch will have his calamity, right? Just as kind of a silly example, but you get the idea. Like a roaring lion and a charging bear is a wicked ruler over poor people. Yeah, a cruel tyrant oppressing the poor. A ruler who lacks understanding. I was trying to hold that back. Oh, here we go. A ruler who lacks understanding is a great oppressor. Yeah. Understing in what? Understanding in how to treat other people. But he who hates covetousness will prolong his days. Yeah, don't be covetous. And usually covetousness is what causes greed and corruption in government. A man burdened with bloodshed will flee into a pit. Let no one help him. The murderer can be caught and punished for his murder for the murder that he committed. Whoever walks blamelessly will be saved, but he who is perverse in his ways will suddenly fall. He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows frivolity will have poverty enough. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who hastens will be rich. To be rich will not be go unpunished. Oh, I'm gonna do these last two again because I've flubbed them up. Let me try it again. Correct my mistakes. He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows frivolity, excuse me, will have poverty enough. Yeah, frivolity. He's lazy, he doesn't want to till. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. It's not talking about a punishment in the sense of a justice department or anything like that. It's talking about in the sense of he kind of punishes himself because he puts himself in that get rich quick scheme and it comes back to bite him. To show partiality is not good because for a piece of bread a man will transgress. A man with an, yeah, have some grace sometimes on people who are in dire situations and they do the wrong thing out of a dire situation. Sometimes a little grace is required. A man with an evil eye hastens after riches, that lust and covetousness for money, right? And does not consider that poverty will come upon him. Like I said, the get rich quick scheme may look good in the eye, but the end of it is always going to be poverty. It's always going to come back to get you. He who rebukes a man will find more favor afterward than he who flatters with the tongue. Whoever robs his father and his mother, what a scuzzy person that would be to rob your own father and your own mother, and says, it is no transgression. I didn't do anything wrong. What you talking about, man? I didn't do nothing wrong. The same as companion to a destroyer. Wow. He who is of a proud heart stirs up strife, pride always stirs up strife. Pride is always just despicable. Arrogance is a horrible thing. And he who trusts in the Lord will be prospered. And of course, humility and trusting in Christ or trusting in God is throughout the scriptures. Even David was very humble. He who trusts in his own heart is a fool. Just trust your heart. Just do what's in your heart. Really? I get to do all that iniquity that's in my heart, all that evil stuff that's in my heart. I get to go out and do that. Just trust that. Look to your heart. How many times have we seen that in the feel-good movies? Um, not a good idea. He who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but whoever walks wisely will be delivered. He who gives to the poor will not lack. That's nice to know if you end up giving to the poor. Just do so wisely. But he who hides his eyes will have many curses. Yeah, if you don't have pity on the poor, God's probably not going to have pity on you, is what it's saying. When the wicked arise, and look, this goes back to Jewish culture. Let me go back to 27. Be careful about looking at this from a 21st century culture standpoint. This goes back to Jewish culture where there were ceremonial and Levitical laws taught to the Jews out of Leviticus and Deuteronomy about being generous to the poor. That's what it goes back to. When the wicked arise, men hide themselves. Yeah, we read that one earlier. But when they perish, the righteous increase. All right. Have we seen that one in politics where things go back and forth, right? All right. Where did my marker go? I'll just go by I don't need it. That's fine. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. We were in Ezekiel earlier. We jumped ahead on Ezekiel. We cheated a little bit to get to Gog and Magog, but it's okay. We'll be in Ezekiel chapter 9 today. Nope. The glory departs from, yes, today, chapter 9. And we'll finish up with this video. Then I gotta go run an errand. Then he called out in my hearing. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to remind myself to tell you what Ezekiel is. Ezekiel, contemporary to Jeremiah, Ezekiel was a prophet, and he prophesies in this book. So this is a lot of it is prophecies of Israel, God's judgment coming down on them, and things of that nature. Here we go. Then he called out in my hearing with a loud voice, saying, "Let those who have charge over the city draw near, each with a deadly weapon in his hand." And so these 6 men came from the direction of the upper gate of the city, um, which faces north, each with his battle axe in his hand. One man among them was clothed with linen and had a writer's inkhorn at his side. They went in and stood beside the bronze altar. Now the glory of the God of Israel had gone up from the cherub, where it had been, to the threshold of the temple. And he called to the man clothed with linen, who had the writer's inkhorn at his side. And the Lord said to him, "Go through the midst of the city, to the midst of Jerusalem, and put a mark on the foreheads of the men who sigh and cry over all the abominations that are done within it." All right. This harkens to the mark on the forehead and the right hand in the book of Revelation. This is not a physical mark. The forehead was representative of the mind. They're put a mark on the mind of these people. God puts them in a certain mindset as a part of the judgment against them. Oh, it's a mark, not visible with the eye, but visible with the Spirit. To the others he said in my hearing, go after him through the city and kill. Do not let your eye spare, nor have any pity. Utterly slay old and young men, maidens, and little children, and women. Today we would call that genocide. But when God commands evil to be wiped out of a land or a city or whatever it might be, God commands a 100% pure, full job on it. If God commands it, he knows the heart of these people, even the little ones. He can bring the little ones home to be with him if he so chooses. And so there you go. That's all I can say. When God brings judgment, folks, just understand it is total judgment. He doesn't do that lightly, and he doesn't do it easily. He gives a lot of grace before he brings this kind of judgment. But it eventually comes to the point where iniquity and evil has taken such a hold on that society that it is totally and wholly affecting even the children. I've seen that to some degree in our society when 9 and 10-year-olds associated with gangs, pledging gangs, things like that, are packing guns, knives, and have intent to do harm to others. That level of evil. All right. So that's why he orders things like this. That's why God does this. That means the evil has just gone so bad that even the children are dangerous. Utterly slay old and young men, maidens, and little children and women, but do not come near anyone on whom is the mark. God put a mark because these are the remnant. These are the people that still belong to the Lord. Begin at my sanctuary. So they began with the elders who were before the temple. Then he said to them, defile the temple and fill the courts with the slain. Go out. And they went out and killed in the city. So they began at the temple of God, where the animal sacrifices were done. The priest and the high priest were, the Holy of Holies, the Ark of the Covenant was all in there. So they began with the elders, gray hairs like me, who were before the temple. Then he said to them, defile the temple and fill the courts with the slain. Go out, and they went out and killed in the city. So it was that while they were killing them, it was left alone. And I fell on my face and cried out and said, ah, Lord God, will you destroy all the remnant of Israel in pouring out your fury on Jerusalem? Then he said to me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great. This is what I was telling you earlier. And the land is full of bloodshed, and the city full of perversity. For they say, the Lord has forsaken the land, and the Lord does not see. And as for me also, my eye will neither spare, nor will I have pity, but I will recompense their deeds on their head. Just then, the man clothed with linen, who had the inkhorn at his side, reported back and said, I have done as you have commanded me. That's a level of wickedness that is mind-boggling, folks. I mean, they used to even throw their children into the fire to burn them alive in worship of Baal, their false god, and Molech, their false god. That's how horrible and evil they became. And God said, that's enough. I mean, wouldn't we, if that were happening today, wouldn't we be crying out, God, why aren't you doing something about this? Why aren't you slaughtering these people and wiping them out for this horrible evil that they're doing? We would be saying that. And it gets to a point where God does that. All right. So thanks for watching. I will be back, and next time we will be in the book of Acts and the book of Romans. Hope you like these videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.